Paul Hedgepath, welcome to the Preconstruction Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. No, it's great having you on board. So let's set the scene, Paul, for all or any of the viewers or audience that have never come across your details or have never come across one of your speaking events. Give us an idea of what you're doing right now, who you're working with, a little bit of background on M.J Harris, and then your current role there.
Okay, yeah, I'm currently the Director of Virtual Construction at M.J Harris. So I've been doing that a little over 9 years. And part of my role is dealing with all the BIM and the VDC within the company. So that deals with coordination and all the other things that are involved with BIM in regards to supporting pre-construction and the field and business development and whatever else we need to do. Outside of that, also dealing with construction technology, whether it's robotic total stations, laser scanning, or drones, 360 photos and videos on job sites, or anything in regards to technology to support our construction processes is what I'm in charge of as well.
Very good, very good. So how did this come about? What we'll do is we'll quickly jump back to Auburn University, and I see that you're proudly got the background of AU right there. 2005, graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Building Construction. But what I like about your background, Paul, is even prior to that, for 4 or 5, maybe even 6 years, you were heavily involved in 3D modeling. How did that come about, or what made you get involved in 3D modeling and in and around the millennium 2000?
I'd say around 1996, when I was in high school, even starting in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, I'd go to the vocational school. So that was about 3 hours a day, every day. And we started on with board drafting and CAD drafting. Then we started doing modeling, some CAD-based modeling back then while I was in high school. And then my senior year in high school, I would go to an architecture firm after school and work there. And at that time, they had, it was Form Z and some earlier 3D softwares that we would use, as well as I was a draftsman. I would do schools and large developments and different things like that, drafting at that point. And then I went on to work full time for that architecture firm for a few years and got an associate's in drafting, architectural drafting at the same time. And then went on into architecture school at Auburn and decided I wanted to lean more towards the construction side of things and change to building science. So that early exposure to drafting and architecture and modeling really got me interested in all those types of areas of construction and design. And then once I got over into the construction field, and then later graduating and going to Holder Construction, we started to in 2005 was around the time when BIM and the design side from construction companies started getting more popular. So I was able to integrate that interest and knowledge into what I was already doing in construction and kind of start that up with some other guys at Holder, then on to J. Dunn, and now at M.J. Harris for about 9 years, and using construction technology and graphical software to kind of marry those two things together.
Very good. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I would imagine the extracurricular stuff that you did at high school would have served you well during your degree at Auburn. Was that the case? Did you find yourself a little bit ahead of everyone else during some of the modules?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would say it sparked my interest to put me in the right direction. While at Auburn, we were more focused on construction education, but having that hybrid allowed me to say, hey, this is something that I can do or pursue once I graduated, because really at the time it really wasn't commonplace and people weren't doing it, but it made it a top of mind option to really utilize those skills later on.
Brilliant, brilliant. And then Holder, I saw that you were one of the first BIM guys on board with those guys. What was that like, especially in those early days? Was there much buy-in from the senior leadership to do with BIM and VDC? What were the challenges of that, and how enjoyable was that, trying to bring BIM and VDC to the forefront of such a big general contractor?
It's good. It was good. So me and a couple other guys were able to really, start from nothing and really establish standards and the processes. And I was able to work on a large hotel project in pre-construction and then carry that on over into the new BIM department. And so I was able to see it from both sides. So this was a hotel downtown Atlanta. The Aquarium Hilton Garden Inn is across the street from the Georgia Aquarium. So it was good to see that process of the transitions from pre-con to operations and carried on all the way through to construction. And at the time, you really didn't have any trade partners or designers modeling that much. So being able to take everything and model from scratch and coordinate it all and really introduce a lot of the trades and the design team to what this whole BIM process is that's now commonplace for everybody. It was pretty good. So being able to start from nothing and kind of create your own standards and make it a success was great for all of us.
Very nice. Beautiful project to cut your teeth on, especially within Precon and BIM. Yeah, but a big success for the team, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Good. And then obviously Holder, then you, as you say, stayed there for a while, then through J.E. Dunn. M.J Harris, now you've been there 9 years. How exciting has it been building a BIM VDC division, and how much has it evolved even in the last 9 years since you've been at M.J Harris?
It's evolved a lot. So that's a great thing about VDC, BIM, and construction technology in general is you really don't know what you're going to be doing 2 or 3 years from now. So in 2011, when I started M.J Harris, I didn't know that I'd be dealing with 360 photos and drones on a regular basis and all the other things outside of BIM that are involved in my job now. So to think about, maybe it's more use of augmented reality or other types of robotics or anything that could happen years from now is pretty exciting. So it's constantly changing, you're constantly challenged, and you're able to really educate everybody, whether they're in pre-construction or the field or any position within M.J Harris, about how technology can help them. So it's exciting to be able to do that anytime you're able to step into a company and do that.
Good. And as you know, this is the Preconstruction Podcast. For our listeners who would be estimators or junior BIM VDC guys, or even people that are in high school or just about to graduate, they're looking for a career in BIM VDC. How does that complement the estimating and pre-construction team? How important is that collaboration and that part of a company? How important is that team?
I think it's very important because you're able to see the building in 3 dimensions, right? So normally estimators are getting a set of plans and they're either using on-center or takeoff or some typical method, or maybe they're a little bit more advanced using tools like Revit and Assemble and other things. But anytime that you're able to see the scope of a job that you're quantifying and that you're getting pricing in from trades, the better. So if you're able to share those 3-dimensional images or even the model itself with the trades that are pricing the work, then they're going to get you a better price because they're going to have a better understanding of the project. The GC themselves, if we're bidding work or we're competing for a negotiated job, we're going to have a better understanding of what we're building, and we're going to be able to explain that to the client better in regards to sequencing and how we're going to build it, as well as pricing as far as what might cost more to construct a certain way or for a certain type of material. So there have been times where we'll price out different value analysis or value engineering options and say, Mr. Owner, we have a brick option here or maybe a precast option, and we can model those 2 options and show them what the differences will be and what the price difference would be. So that would be another value of having VDC skills within a pre-construction department.
Yeah, and again, that sort of stuff's invaluable. I mean, there's so much you can do now, as you say, it's evolving so quickly. What do you think, and just touching on this model very quickly, what do you think will the future of the model be? Will it be the model be at the forefront of everything that we do when it comes to construction, especially from an early stage?
I think so. If you have a negotiated job now, you'll see that the designers over the past 10 years have really started to share models more with the GC. So we're able to have constant feedback. So it's not just you have a schematic design released, DD release and a CD release. You're actually getting releases from the model on a weekly basis. So we've done this on several projects. Even if they're not IPD projects, will still be a CM at risk job, but it'll be negotiated, and we'll get models on a weekly basis that we're able to then click a button and see how that the scope is changing, and we're able to manage scope creep. We're able to stay transparent with the owner in regards to where their project is going. And I just see it going in that direction more and more as the technology advances. We get more cloud usage of the model, and it gets faster and even more efficient, to where you have something to where the design team, the contractor, the owner, and everyone are acting as an IPD type contract, but it could be any type of delivery method. We're just doing this almost on a daily basis. So there's really no surprises ever. So we always know, hey, it's going to be this cost, and we're able to manage this cost and manage this design, and everybody's on the same page. And even bringing the trade contractors on board even earlier, almost like a team approach type of situation, but it would just be commonplace to where the trades are working with the engineers early on during the design phase, and we're making this a design and a constructible model all at once, which we've done before, but it was kind of a one-off. We've done it a few times where we've had the trades involved with the engineers early as they design, and they create shop drawings at the same time. And I just like every job to be like that as the years go on. So where you're not designing it twice. You don't have your design into engineer model, then you have your trade model. You just have it all at once, and you're able to also manage that cost early on because there's no surprises later on for the owner.
Yeah. It must be unbelievable for an owner to be able to say, and for someone like yourselves, M.J Harris, to turn up and say, listen, this is the model, and by the way, here's the mechanical guys, the electrical guys, this is their model, for them to be able to see everything and literally presenting a team of people. I mean, you always kind of presented resumes of the team that's going to be on it from M.J Harris or profiles. But how good would it be to be able to show that, but also the profiles of the mechanical, electrical? It has to be the way forward. I mean, we always talk on this podcast about the three-legged stool, the owner, the architect, and then the general contractor. That collaboration and almost real-time agile construction methodology has to be the way forward. And I would imagine, especially with your good clients, do you almost pitch that early on, or do you advise them on that?
In regards to having an awareness of who's going to be on the team from a trade standpoint, we try to. We work nationwide, so we do follow our clients around the country. So we're based in Birmingham. We have an office in Tennessee, but we have 3 or 4 jobs going on right now in California. So as we go into those different markets, it's kind of hard to maintain the same trade group all the time. So you're dealing with new people every time, but as in the future, I would see there being a set standard to where even if it's a new trade, they would be able to come on board early, and there would be no surprises in regards to the workflow as owners start to adopt BIM more in the and required in specifications. That would be something that we would be able to pitch more if we're locally in Birmingham or actually building multiple structures in the same city. Then we're able to kind of offer that to the owner, saying, hey, we're going to use these partners that you've worked with before, and this is going to be the process as it was before, so there's not any surprises.
Brilliant. Yeah, I can just imagine as an owner, instead of having to wait on that dreaded email of a change order, being able to sit down and every week log into a model and visualize. And you know yourself, Paul, we're all visual people. I much prefer visuals than actual data. Being able to see that any change orders, it's just reassuring, and it has to set you. And I mean, we've had this conversation on this podcast quite a lot. If you're not involved in BIM and VDC, or you haven't got an internal department, then you're way behind the 8 ball when it comes to pitching for these projects. And what I like as well is I mean, speaking of Auburn, I like your back lecturing at Auburn. Was that right to say? I mean, I saw a couple of things on LinkedIn. Are you back helping out those guys, or are you just dipping in and out helping the next generation?
Yeah, is a lot of alumni. We'll go back and we'll lecture on whatever expertise we have, make sure that those guys are kind of staying up to date on what's current, and the professors do an amazing job of educating them on the current trends and everything. And they always like to have a different perspective, someone that's doing it day in and day out from the industry come in and do that. So yeah, I do that as much as I can. And it's really, you're shaping the future there. These are the guys that are going to be the future CEOs and presidents of our companies. And the more we can educate them on technology and get them fired up about it, I think the more we're going to have that adoption that we were talking about earlier, where it's more seamless and everybody's on board with everything. And we eliminate a lot of the common problems that we have in construction and design today. So.
Brilliant. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, having someone come out of college that you've technically sort of molded and given advice on is even better to join your team. And as a director of BIM VDC, how difficult is it building a high quality, productive team? What are the challenges and what does it take to be able to get a good, strong, solid team together to be able to move forward?
Just you have to find somebody with passion that's interested in doing their job, but also thinking outside the box, and someone that's saying, hey, maybe there's ways we can improve in this area or this area. Someone that has good social skills, because I would really say 80 to 90% of VDC is going to be social, and it's going to be interacting with people. And yeah, you got to have the computer skills and Revit and Navisworks and all those different types of things, but you're going to be talking to people all day long, whether it be a trade contractor or the superintendent in the field, or maybe a estimator or anybody. And your job as a VDC professional is to support everyone else in the company in all different areas. And there's few jobs in a construction company that are like that. So most people are kind of in their silo. Of course, they work with other people, and they try to break down those silos themselves. But by definition, a VDC professional doesn't have a silo, because they're with everybody, making everybody's job better. So.
Yeah, I love it. And listen, I get it all the time. We specialize in recruiting estimators and pre-construction professionals. And right at the beginning, we started 4 or 5 years ago, the company. At the beginning, it was all about their technical ability. It was all about their ability to do their job. They used to maybe sit in a corner and just grind out hard bids. Now, in the last year, 16 months, that ability to collaborate and be client focused is just creeping to the top ever so often. The evolution of an estimator, a pre-construction person, a VDC BIM person, it's about getting the best out of a team and being able to sell your vision or your part within a project. And if we could kind of push on now and look at tech stacks, what excites you out there right now about BIM and VDC? Is there any particular technology or product that you think, you know what, I didn't see this coming, this is a game changer?
I would say augmented reality and the Trimble XR10 that uses the HoloLens 2. That's been out for a few months now, and it's been a great change. So we've seen the HoloLens for several years. You've probably seen it at trade shows and things on the floor, and you'll be able to put it on. You can see a model over there, and you're like, oh, that's cool. But when you actually use the HoloLens 2 with a greater field of view and use it on one of your jobs and actually see the pipe out there and where it's supposed to be and where it maybe isn't, that's a huge benefit. Now, before we actually used it in M.J. Harris on a job, I really didn't see the benefit like I do now. You see it kind of as a novelty or something. Oh, that'd be a nice to have. But when we're able to put it on a superintendent and put it on a piping foreman and instantly see an issue and be able to relocate some pipe because of that, and that's a game changer. So I see things like augmented reality and being able to make that even smaller and cheaper, and maybe something to where pipe fitters and other people could wear it, because they were wanting to wear it in the field when we use it out there. Said, hey, I could actually lay out my pipe with this thing. So when you have people that don't use technology on a regular basis wanting to use technology and instantly seeing value, that gets me excited. So that's just one of the things recently that I've noticed that I think is going to continue to improve.
Brilliant. Yeah. And as you say, there's a lot of shiny things out there that are coming out, but stuff that you literally can test on a site. And as you say, give to a foreman or a superintendent with 25, 30 years experience that wouldn't be as technologically savvy as someone like you, but to be able to put on them and say, wow, this is a game changer, and convince them right away, that's a hell of a benefit for you. Good. And then give us an idea of what's the future. I mean, that's right now. What's maybe 3 or 4 years down the line? Is there anything specifically? I know we talk about data quite a lot and the model within pre-construction and estimating. Is there anything that's going to change that particular area of construction that you see coming down the line?
Well, you have softwares out there like Assemble, and even some estimating teams are using Revit to do all their quantification and not even using on-screen takeoff or other things. So I think that's going to continue to evolve where people on the estimating side are utilizing the model more and even getting more constant feedback from the design team. So where we may have design iterations where we're, like I mentioned earlier, where we're designing based off document releases, if they're able to streamline that, I guess I wouldn't say design, but estimating, if they're able to streamline that estimating to where you get the feedback even quicker, and we're able to notify the owner when scope creep might be happening, when it might be getting a little bit out of budget. So with the use of tools like Assemble and other things to analyze the model, and then the more adoption of analytics, Power BI or any other types of internal analytics a company may have, getting the owner information quicker is going to continue to increase by using BIM, VDC, analytics, and really just an understanding of how to use all those tools together and to get that information over to them. So.
Brilliant. Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. And then, is there any, again, when 2005, when you were in university, did you have a clear path that BIM VDC was going to be your career? I'm just kind of thinking back to our audience who are graduates or even junior people within BIM VDC. Is there any advice that you would give them that might help them in their career?
At that time, no, because it really didn't exist in the construction industry. It wasn't commonplace. You may have seen a few GCs doing it, but it really wasn't something that was talked about or was even a career option. But getting out there and then thinking outside the box and, you know, having like-minded people around you, it became an opportunity. So now that it is an opportunity, I know at Auburn University, they do integrate VDC and BIM into all their classes, as well as they have thesis options and other things. So it is a big part of Auburn University now, and they do get you very well prepared. So if it's something you're interested in, then I would definitely seek it out in a construction education program and pay extra mind to those types of classes, as well as educate yourself in the software. There's plenty of resources where you can become good at the software before you graduate. Not only that, just thinking outside the box, because maybe there's going to be something else besides BIM and VDC, just as it was for me, that's emerging, that's coming up. Maybe it'll be robotics one day or something else where there's professionals doing that. We've seen lean emerge a lot. We have a lot of lean professionals, lean construction professionals in companies now. So that would be a good example of one that emerged after BIM. So there's all types of things. And then even if you want to do the standard estimating or project management or field route, being good at the VDC element of it as well is going to enhance your own job and make your job easier.
Absolutely. And as you say, it's all about standing out. I mean, during COVID, during the downtime, young professionals, male, female, always reaching out to me saying, listen, Gareth, I've got some downtime now. I may have been furloughed. What should I do? And I'm constantly saying you've got to upskill yourself, get certification, whether it be the Autodesk University, go onto YouTube. There's loads of LinkedIn learning out there to be able to upskill yourself. So I totally agree. And it's all about adding value. And as you say, no matter what part of construction you're in, you're going to need BIM VDC, or you're going to need an understanding of how it works. So you're in Birmingham at the moment, Paul. What do you do on the downtime when you're not playing with your XR10 and your robotics?
I've got 2 kids. I've got a 5-year-old girl and a 1-year-old boy, so that keeps me pretty busy. That's probably the favorite thing to do, is spend time with the family.
Good.
Other things as well, I'm a competitive shooter and other types of things that golf and all that other stuff. So
good man.
When I do have time, I'll do some of that stuff, but mainly just with the family.
Good man. No, listen, I appreciate it. And listen, thank you very much as well for giving up some time to come and speak to the Preconstruction Podcast. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Anytime.